So we just wanted to chat to you today because you're like super active in the Touch Day Rockstar group, and we know that you've had well, it seems that you've had a really good experience with Touch Day so far. So I had some questions just to kind of get an idea of you and your business and kind of get a bit of background behind what it is that you're actually doing and like how things have maybe changed for you over the last year as well, because if I understand correctly, it's quite a new business that's kind of taken off since COVID has started and everything. So yeah, a bit of background around that. And then I just had some questions around how Touch Stay has helped and what kind of things it's helped facilitate and things like that, which we'll get into. But yeah, if you just wanted to start off by telling me a little bit about you and your business, and then yeah, we can go from
Okay, awesome. I'm so excited to talk about Touch Day.
there.
Um, but so of course I'm Brittany. I was manager of operations at a local company, property management company in the Destin, Florida area for over 9 years, and of course did that for a while and followed my dream. I really wanted to own my own company, and so I left in September of last year. And then that's when I went off on my own and started Breathe Easy Rentals. So we are still in year one, but we've been off to a really awesome start. And of course, the demand here is outrageous. So it's actually pushed me a little bit further than I thought we would be at this point. But it's been good. It's all been good things. So definitely, starting my own business, I had to be the most efficient I could in everything. I didn't have a team anymore to handle things and stuff like that. So that was always my biggest focus, in starting all this, is what technology was out there to help me, because I needed it.
Yeah. And so you started your business actually whilst COVID had already hit, was in the midst of like everything. Like how was that experience?
Um, it was terrifying. you know, you're starting a business in a pandemic, but it's one of those where people are always going to travel, and yes, while we might have different obstacles that pop up, I think if we've learned anything from COVID, it's that people want to travel. People want to get out. They want to create those experiences. So, I mean, again, it was obviously, first off, it's terrifying starting your own business, anyways, but especially in an uncertain, world. But I'm a firm believer that travel is not going to go anywhere. And I know kind of what I'm trying to do with Breathe Easy and the direction I'm trying to take it. And I know that I'm always gonna, be able to have those people that are coming and stuff like that. So it's still definitely worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it for some people listening to this as well, it might seem like in, when COVID hit, the thing that was most hit was travel instantly. So to then kind of launch a travel business during that time seems kind of crazy. But actually, I guess a lot of the domestic travel and everything in the States as well has, like you said, like really skyrocketed. So there's more demand than you said you even expected. Is that right?
Oh yeah. And we're in the Florida Panhandle, so we have always been a drive to destination. There are a lot more flights that are coming in the past couple of years, but still, even with flights and stuff down, over the past year, as people have slowly become more comfortable traveling, just having that, being that travel to destination with a vehicle, I mean, it did is amazing. So yeah, there's a lot more, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens as international travel opens back up. I do think it'll be really interesting to see. I think our demand's going to kind of go down a little bit, but I still think that there's just still so much uncertainty. And I think, for us, it's kind of created that, oh, there's stuff that we can do in our own backyards instead of having to go overseas. I mean, it's always awesome, and I think such a good experience to go outside of the country and see different, things like that. But I think, again, for people here, it's kind of like, hey, there's a lot to do where you can just get in your car and road trip it and find stuff and
Yeah.
go to the beach and the mountains and all of that. So
And America's like huge. I swear like America's got like 5 different million countries in one country, like with like there's so much to see. Like, so yeah, I bet it's been really eye-opening for a lot of people used to travel, like who used to travel a lot in the past and now have only got in their eyes just America, but actually America's got so much in it. So there's so much to
Absolutely.
see. That's amazing, like so brave, and it sounds like it's really like paying off, which is incredible. So in terms of like the technology and side of things, and so you were already had it clear in your mind that you knew that you wanted some sort of like, I don't know, automation technology kind of stuff that was going to help you out. Like, how did you come across Touch Day or things like Touch Day, and was that something that you already knew that you needed as your business?
Um, yeah, I mean, it was trying to think back, it was I knew going into this that I was going to be a one man band initially and that I needed the support. Again, I mean, I've been in the industry for at this point 10 years. So I go to a lot of conferences here, vacation rental conferences. I'm very active even with vendors. I love, meeting people and networking. So in my past, I had used different things before and I knew what I liked and I didn't. And it was one of those like, okay, going into this by myself, I obviously have those things that I can use. Or it was also a really great opportunity to say, is there something better out there? So even like my rental software, I did a lot of research for months and wound up choosing the same rental software that I had. When it came to that guest experience. I had used an app before. Had To me, it had more negatives than positives, even though the general idea of it was good. And I'll be honest, I don't know how I initially ran across Touch Day. I think it was just from hearing, from other property managers who had mentioned it. And so that's when I started looking into it. And, it was one of those things, again, me just being by myself running around. I knew that communication with guests and answering all 5 million questions repeatedly was going to be what saved my time. So I could be efficient and only go and run. And so when I came across Touch Day, I fell in love with it. And it's been a huge game changer. Like I always go in and as people ask me new questions, I'll set up the new categories and touch screenshots from the guidebook and send it to them in a text. And I always refer them back, hey, go check out your guidebook in this section and you'll find more details. And I just have like a little snippet. And I probably use Touch Stay every day, with guests and stuff like that and helping to answer those questions. Like it genuinely has helped me a lot. It's been like, it's been that other leg for me, like that employee answering all the silly questions instead of me having to repeat myself 500 times.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I guess as well, because you have multiple properties, so
Mhm.
it's a way of like, I guess even for people who have just got the one property, like not having to answer all those questions about their one property over and over again. But if you have several with lots of different types of questions, like, yeah, that must be a lot of work, especially if you're on your own.
Absolutely. And it keeps me organized too. Like a coffee maker is one of the top questions we get asked. What kind of coffee makers in the property? And I can't remember. So, I again will refer guests to their touch stay guide, or generally they're asking that pretty far out because they want to know what kind of coffee to pack. And so even that I can just hop into the touch stay guide and look it up really quick because I do put coffee what kind of coffee maker is in the touch stay guide as its own little thing. So even that, just, even if you have one property or multiple, like it being a source for yourself or your staff is very awesome. And I don't know if you want to dive into it at all at any point, but I also use Touch Stay as a training guide as completely separate from my staff, and that's been amazing.
Oh yeah, no, please talk about that. That's incredible. Yeah, how have you used it in that way then?
So I'm like so excited about about this. So we did have really awesome growth this first year, so I was able to bring on some part-timers. So the good thing about part-timers is they're part-time. You don't have the full-time worries and all of that stuff. The hard part is that you have to train them and get them on their feet so quickly and you have a limited amount of time with them. So again, same concept like with the guests. Instead of me repeating everything, especially as I know I'm going to grow the business, I thought, man, it'd be really cool if there was just a book that had all the training information, and this is how you pack a bag, and this is what amenities we put in, and when you get to laundry, this is what you need to do, and this is what the color tags mean, and all that stuff. And so of course I wasn't going to do an actual book. And I thought about Touch Stay, messaged with support, and they were like, yeah, just set up a different account. And that was awesome. Like normal, I could put pictures in there. I thank goodness to my staff don't have any videos, but I guess if I needed to, I could. But if you have a special way that you roll your towels, or you want your amenities or something to be set up a certain way, I think it can really be beneficial. So in our training guide, we have each property has its own section, and so my staff can go in and see again how to pack the bags and what goes into the property, and any special notes we might have. And I set it up one time. I trained my staff on the whys and our processes, and then they use the guidebook. I'm not sitting there telling them how many washcloths to put in and this and that. They can always refer to that. And of course, that allows me to be more efficient. They can be more efficient on the answers on their own. And it's been a huge help. I'm excited as I grow to put more stuff in there.
Yeah, and that's remarkable as well. That is kind of being useful in a two-pronged approach for your first year of business, like actually helping fill in the gaps when you didn't have employees to kind of do a lot of that maintenance and answering the questions and the guest experience side of stuff. And then later actually helping when you did get the staff to come on to actually get them on up and sort of ready and knowing what they're doing very quickly. So
Definitely.
yeah, that's really cool to hear. I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you think the vacation rental industry, how it's changing or how you foresee it changing, and how you think tools like TouchStay could help with how the industry is kind of set to change, especially coming out of COVID. I know we kind of touched on it before, but any insights or any feelings you have around that?
Yeah. I think we could probably all agree that guest expectations are out the roof. And not just from a cleanliness standard, but I think people unfortunately are very short tempered, because they have been locked up, or no matter what your stance is on the situation, we're still being locked up. And I firmly believe humans are meant to be around others, and we're, hug each other, and I don't know, we're just happy humans. So, I think that again, that guest expectation has really increased. What I have found is you always have some guests that they will ask you every question that comes to mind. But for the most part, guests don't really want to be a bother. Like they want to have their own vacation. They want to know where they're checking in. They want to know what they can go do. And yes, they'll want a local recommendation here and there, of course, if they need help, but they don't want to be nagging. They don't want to be bothersome. They want to have their own little prideful vacation that they planned. And, so to me, having Touch Stay, if you've got it built out correctly and it's enough information but not too much, that's exactly what they can use it for, so they can find pertinent details that they need to know. But then if you have recommendations and things to do, and especially those local insider tips, go to the grocery store Sunday morning, not Saturday night, stuff like that, then they can plan a stress-free or hopefully stress-free vacation, and then they can experience it because you've given them all the most of the things that they need to plan a good vacation. And if you're not putting too much in there, then I think they feel like they are local personal recommendations. It's not anybody can Google, anybody can find 5,000 snorkeling companies in the area, but when I tell you two of them, I think they have that sense of pride, so they know, okay, these are two that she recommended, and they go and book them. So I think on the other side, of touch stay, you know, we used to use handbooks in the condos where we would print out all the local recommendations and numbers and all of that. And I'll just say it bluntly, they're just so gross. Like, nobody ever cleans those things. Kids are drawing on them and people are ripping pages out. And oh my gosh, they were, I don't know. When I knew going into my own business, I did not want those things in any of my properties. And I get sometimes people feel it's a little nostalgic, but I was like, they're so gross. So at least with touch stay, again, guest expectations are higher. I can keep a guide clean. They're not having to download an app. Everybody in the family can put it on their phone. It's kids safe. It's not like we have anything parent only that can be seen in there and stuff like that. So it's something the whole family can share. And it's who doesn't have a smartphone these days, or a tablet or something. So I think, again, just having that cool innovative thing is kind of different instead of the old handbook that people might be used to.
Yeah, and I guess as well, like the whole gross part of it as well is not very good with the COVID situation either. So it's kind of, yeah, going forward, I imagine, yeah, those those gross handbooks should get even more thrown out. um I mean, that's all amazing, like such cool stuff. And another question that I had, which I guess you've kind of touched on, but yeah, maybe there's a little bit more to say about it, but the challenges that are unique to having several properties, and how touch stay has helped with that, as well as kind of just that repeat question thing. Like, is there anything else that having so many properties to manage and look after, like how does touch stay sort of help you manage that more efficiently?
Well, just having the tags, where we can go in and say, okay, here's this bulk of properties. And the hard part is my stuff has been very separated for right now. So that's been my own difficulty. But even so, I've managed it. I couldn't imagine having to start over and recreate everything from scratch for every single property. With touch say you don't have to do that. You can say, yes, show on here or don't. And the customization, I love the newer dashboard that recently came out. It just makes things easier, and it's an instant turnaround to the guests, and new guidebooks that are sent out. So I just think, to me, like, kudos to the tech team working on all of that behind the scenes. They've made it visually easy. All of the training guides, I don't know if I ever even talked to anybody from support, because y'all had like the most amazing training information. And, it was like it walked you through exactly what you needed. And I know it sounds silly to say it, but all of the training guides were up to date and showed accurate real-time pictures. Sometimes with these softwares, they upgrade and change, which is awesome, but they don't update their training materials. So if you're going in, with a tech question and you have an old screenshot, it just totally messes you up. So, I think on the back end, you guys have spent a huge amount of time in making it user friendly for us. And to point blank answer your question, that's what makes it easy for me to set up for multiple properties that are different but the same altogether.
Amazing. I mean, you've covered everything incredibly, all of my questions. Like very precise, very to the point, brilliant answers. It's so lovely to see how it's helped your business in such a holistic way as well, like on so many different levels. I think that's a really nice story, and I'm so pleased that, yeah, that you've had that experience with it. Was there anything else that you wanted to say, or anything that I haven't asked, or any other aspect of touch stay that you'd like to mention, or anything like that? It's fine if not, but just in case.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think just a huge thank you. I think y'all's entire team, I'm not sure how y'all are all laid out, but I think you should be prideful in the community that you've built. Even in that Facebook group, being able to ask questions or advice of each other. It's not a drama fed group, it has interaction. It's not just a dead group either. And I'm a firm believer that you want your business to create efficiencies for other people. And if you make things easier and efficient for other people, you will prosper. So if I make booking a vacation and having a vacation easy, people are going to come to me. How am I going to do that? It's through vendors like you guys, like Touch Day. When you make my life easier and you can make me more efficient, I can do my job better. And y'all listen. There's a lot of software, not a lot, there are some softwares and vendors out there that just get stale, or they say they listen and they don't. And to me, that's kind of where their breaking point's going to be. You're only as good as the feedback and the people that you're listening and doing business with. So, I just think kudos to all of you guys for, it seems like you're a great on the back end, tight knit community that wants to help and provide an experience for owners and property managers. And that's what I see from you guys. And that's why I love sharing y'all's name with everybody, because I'm like, they're amazing on every aspect. And you have an issue, to answer it. And it's like a group. It's like you're like, I feel like I'm like part of this teeny family, in the grand scheme of things. And that's cool. There's not a lot of vendors out there like that. There are a few, whom I love, and you guys are at the top of my list of it, because y'all really do create that community. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I can reach out to Andy or anybody like immediately, and I'm gonna get a response. So I appreciate that very much.
Oh, that's such lovely, lovely feedback, Brittany. Thank you. That's amazing. And everyone's
Absolutely.
gonna be super like thrilled to hear that. That's really, really nice.
They
Thank
should.
you.